Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into the absolute ultimate fix for AI amnesia, and I promise you this is going to completely transform how you work. Now, if you've been using Claude to write or code, brainstorm, maybe manage projects, you might think it's just, the nature of the beast to start completely from scratch every single time you open a new chat. But today, we're going to change that permanently.
So let me ask you something. Are you just completely exhausted from having to explain yourself to Claude literally every single time? I mean, it's this massive invisible drain on your daily productivity. Think about it. You spend the first few minutes of every single session re-explaining your background, your personal writing style, your specific project constraints. Or, honestly, what's worse is when you just don't do it, and Claude gives you an output that doesn't think how you actually work at all.
Because look at the difference here. Without a CLAUDE.md file, you're starting from absolute zero. You repeat yourself endlessly, and you end up correcting the exact same mistakes over and over again. It's frustrating, right? But with it, the AI instantly writes in your voice. It knows your project context right away, and it actually remembers your preferences. This one simple tool shifts your entire workflow from repetitive frustration to seamless continuity right out of the gate. Honestly, it's the very first thing you should set up before doing any serious work.
All right, so here is our roadmap to completely upgrading your AI experience today. We're going to cover 1. The zero memory problem. 2. Meet your CLAUDE.md. 3. Fixing communication and behavior. 4. Context and persistent memory. 5. The developer rules. And finally, number 6, a permanent AI upgrade.
Okay, let's jump right into section 1, the zero memory problem.
So let's unpack this invisible enemy. The cost of a blank slate is incredibly high because Claude starts every single session with, zero memory. It doesn't know your name, it definitely doesn't know your work, and it forces this constant loop of re-explaining. This default amnesia problem is literally costing serious users valuable hours every single week. You're basically paying an invisible tax on your time because the AI has to guess what you want, and let's be real, it's wrong just as often as it's right.
Which brings us to section 2, meet your CLAUDE.md. Now, the setup for this simple, permanent solution is ridiculously fast. We're talking literally 2 minutes, and it requires absolutely zero extra software. Here is how it works. Step 1, open your project folder and just create a new file. Step 2, name it exactly, all in capital letters, Claude.md, no spaces. Step 3, open it up in any basic text editor, paste in your plain text instructions, and hit save. That is the whole shebang. Claude reads this file automatically every time you open a session in that folder. It just works, right from the very first message. Moving right along to section 3, fixing communication and behavior. Okay, this is where it gets really fun because we can instantly fix how Claude talks to you. First up, kill the filler forever. You know those annoying, time-wasting phrases like great question or certainly? Yeah, instruct the AI to stop using those and just give you the answer. Second, demand that it always shows you 2 to 3 options before acting on a big task so you actually get to choose the direction. Third, force it to be explicitly honest when it's uncertain. No more guessing and filling gaps with plausible sounding but completely fake facts. And finally, tell it to match its response length to the task complexity. Simple questions should just get short, direct answers. And it's not just about talking, it's about actual behavior too. We need to set up some essential guardrails here. Instruct the AI to just stop and actually ask you before making significant content changes. This stops it from rewriting an entire document when you really just wanted to fix one paragraph. Also, tell it to stay focused solely on what was asked. No silent, unprompted improvements to phrases you already liked. Force it to provide a quick summary of its edits at the end. And this is absolutely crucial. Instruct it to never ever take external actions, like sending messages or publishing content, without your explicit confirmation right then and there. Next up, section 4. Context and persistent memory. Giving your AI a persistent context? This part right here is an absolute game changer. You are essentially defining your reality inside that file. You need to tell Claude exactly what your role and expertise are, so it stops over-explaining things you already know. Share your specific project goals and your target audience to instantly kill that generic robotic copy. Lock in your exact writing style, your preferred sentence length, your vocabulary, so it writes in your true voice right from draft number 1. And finally, list out permanent project facts. These are the constraints and rules that are always true, ensuring the AI never suggests something that contradicts your actual reality. Now, what's really fascinating about this, and this is a huge pro tip, is using companion files.
Since Claude forgets conversations between sessions, but it can read and write files, you can actually instruct it to maintain a memory.md file. It uses this to log end-of-session summaries and important decisions. You can even have an errors.md file where it logs failed approaches if something takes more than 2 attempts to get right. Do you see what this does? It means you never waste time rereading old messages to remember where you left off, and you completely stop repeating the exact same trial and error mistakes twice. All right, let's pivot a bit. Section 5, the developer rules. For the technical folks and developers tuning in, listen up, because AI can do some real damage to a codebase if you leave it unchecked. You have to set incredibly strict boundaries. Instruct Claude to strictly stay in scope, meaning no unasked-for refactoring or randomly renaming your variables. Mandate absolute confirmation before any destructive changes, like dropping database tables or deleting files. You also need to enforce hard stops on irreversible actions, like deploying to production or making live API calls. And finally, explicitly lock in your tech stack. Tell it exactly what language, framework, and package manager you use, so it finally stops suggesting incompatible tools just because they happen to be popular. And to put the power of these rules into perspective, just look at this number. By adopting just 4 specific rules from a viral instruction file, users have seen a massive spike in coding accuracy. We're talking jumping from 65% all the way up to a staggering 94%. That is wild.
So what are these 4 transformative rules? They were actually identified by Andrej Karpathy. You might know him. He's the former director of AI at Tesla. And they turn the AI into a seriously precise, predictable tool. Number 1, ask instead of making silent assumptions before writing a single line of code. Number 2, always implement the simplest solution first without adding unrequested abstractions. Number 3, never touch unrelated code. Seriously, if a file isn't part of the task, do not modify it, ever. And number 4, explicitly flag uncertainty before proceeding. Because, let's be honest, confidence without certainty causes way more damage than just admitting a knowledge gap.
Which leads us to our final stop today, Section 6, a permanent AI upgrade. So, bringing all these pillars together, what's your bottom line action plan? It's literally this simple. Create the file, paste in 3 instructions, add more as you go. And remember, actually, scratch that. I really want to emphasize this. This is not just a developer tool. It's for writers locking in their voice, marketers defining their audience, business owners giving company context, the whole works. Start small today. Just put the file in your folder, solve your top 3 biggest frustrations first, and I guarantee the difference in output quality will be immediate and completely obvious from your very first session.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to chew on. What will you achieve when your AI finally remembers exactly who you are and exactly how you work? Just imagine the friction you're going to eliminate and the hours you'll reclaim when you no longer have to explain yourself from scratch. Build your file, lock in your reality, and stop starting from zero. Thanks so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.